Namaste and welcome viewers to a brand new episode of Mirror Prime. I'm Ashish Pareek. The toughest measures, GRAP Stage 4, which should have been activated, still haven't been activated. People in the National Capital Region are gasping for breath. Schools are in session. On Children's Day, we continue to play with the lives of our younger ones, and yet there seems to be a Apocalypse Act Now campaign. Of course, even the authorities seem content only dragging their feet. There's no action, no firm action taken so far. Now, the stage 3 restrictions have now been imposed after the AQI remained over 400 for 2 whole days. This is a mere band-aid in Delhi, which is the severe plus category. Here on Mirror Prime, we ask, why do we always wait for the worst to take action, and do we really need more hospitalizations, more respiratory illnesses and more lives impacted just to push for a real response? It's high time to move. Us right now is Ankita Sameer Patwa, who's a founder of the Green Resolve. Ankita, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast here. What's really happening in the national capital? I mean, I can understand the weather, I can understand the pollution, but what's more shocking is the lackadaisical attitude of those in power. Grab 3 restriction continues to play the catch-up game. That's not what we need right now.
That's absolutely right. So what is going on? AQI of 400, anything above 400 level is typically what you expect from hazardous waste. So when you talk about comparison, you're talking about toxic pollutant hazard. GRAP is something that should have been implemented long time ago. We talk about a lot of policies and what should be implemented, but I think GRAP was something that we were so much worried about rapid urbanization in terms of infrastructure bills and modernization, but we failed to see the circular topic in this is dust control. Dust control kind of primarily just focuses so much on smog creation. Just look at all of the construction activities that are going on. Dust is basically for 20 to 40% of what causes this AQI.
Can definitely call us on the numbers that are flashing on your screens right now. Right now joining us is Noor Ahmed from Mumbai. Noor, go ahead.
Okay, is the government trying to promote oxygen, small mini bottles like the water bottles for the schools, children carrying it? And one side they will be having a water bottle, the other side they will be having an oxygen bottle. Is that the kind of a situation?
Of course, the children are the focus right now, and Noor, I can understand what you're trying to say here. The fact that children need to be taken that we have on our screens right now. What's happening in the national capital? This is not the future that we want to give to our young ones. And it's unfortunate that not just us, but also the younger ones have to go through all of this. And they, as expected, will bear a maximum brunt of what's going on.
Definitely, sir. And definitely the most risky category for these issues is our children. Today on the Children Day, we definitely would like to have concern about this all rising issues. They are most high risk. They can handle the burden they are having with these polluted cities. So we are imposing a great risk factor to their health and to their future.
Right. In fact, Ankita, I want to ask you the same question here. The high 56 online classes, it says that the government can decide or the schools can decide whether they want to have online classes. This is appalling. We shouldn't be letting children out of the homes in a city which has an AQI of 456.
Yeah, sure. Look down by the authorities is that we'll have to curtail all our daily activities so that to minimum that we only go out for emergency purposes only. And for classes, if there's an option to have online classes and to reduce the risk, definitely it should be adopted so as to...
Any change with their winter action plan or all these fancy schemes, slogans that were put behind?
So the primary reason
nothing has worked. But let's leave all that behind. Aggressive action is what is needed, something that brings about a change. But clearly, even that is not being done.
Right, and awareness. Where is the stricter enforcement in terms of individual activities and also construction activities? Government is planning to do a lot of construction activities. We're planning to build a lot of infrastructure for, global growth and modernization. But what we're failing to understand is actual road, you see construction is going everywhere. Where are stricter dust control requirements for builders, where are stricter regulations for organizations that are doing all these construction activities. We can talk about what needs to change, but unless these regulations are not strictly implemented,
Regulations, all these bans after the situation deteriorates, but do these really help? As someone who's worked in that field, give us a sense of what sort of changes are needed, because every single year we look at these plans, action plans, fancy slogans being put out, but nothing changes. What should be done to ensure that this
presence using covering construction sites with tarp that contain the dust that goes out and that people get affected by, paving vegetation, open spaces, that is one of the other activities. The other prime reason for actual effective change we see in Delhi, because it's the wind that does all the action, and that's the whole cloud activity that you see over Delhi. So dust collection, stricter regulations on industries, both small scale and large scale, is mandatory. We talk about all these implications, but are these regulated in this industry for the last 8 years now? You have to have individual awareness to actually see the impact. Think about Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat was an idea that was established by the government so many years ago. But today, after 10 years of that implementation, if you ask any kid, they still know what. If we keep talking about, yes, we are implementing this, come next year, November 2025, we will still be at the same stage if individual awareness activities are not been implemented. And what I mean by that is, again, you cannot control a lifestyle of an individual, meaning individual daily activities like saving energy, using water conservation, on your daily activities that show actual impact.
So clearly structural and fundamental changes are what the government needs to focus on. And Dr. Sachit, you were making a very interesting point. You said children are in the high risk category as far as children are concerned, because adults, we understand there are respiratory issues, cardiological issues. Children,
Exactly.
I read in one of the reports that there are neurological issues as well that they could face. Give us more details about that.
Yeah, handle all these stress. So what happens is, at a very early age, there occurs some changes in the system that oxidative stress they can't handle, and these things used to produce symptoms in the later life, including the immunocompromise and then carcinogenicity. And the rise is important factor, which is increasing these non-communicable diseases, including this respiratory issues, then coronary artery disease, heart disease. And definitely these children who are getting exposed to higher level of pollutants, they are prone to develop these.
So you're talking about children and the sort of issues that they face as well. Now, Delhi government has now imposed GRAP Stage 3. Now, GRAP Stage 3 says that children up until class 5 can have an option of online classes. Now, help me understand, is this enough? In class 12 has, that a student in class 5 doesn't. If online classes is an option, why shouldn't it be across the board?
It should be. It should be. However, they're considering the I think practical training is gets important as the students goes to higher classes. So in that context, I think on years of age, and this is the time then when our body grows, and these pollutants have the drastic effects during that period. To curtail that, in fact, from medical side, it is very much recommended that this group, this strata of the people should be
Absolutely. In fact, Dr. Sachit, we also have a...
make Delhi a total gas chamber. I mean, for the kids living here, for elderly people, and even for the young generations of middle-aged people, we are reducing the life expectancies. The life is going down. So I fail to understand. I mean, the government, every year they plan something, they do it on papers, but nothing for because of fault of government. I mean, no words, yeah, no words. I mean, whether it's any government, I feel scared to live in a country like India. Unfortunately, I can't afford to leave country, so I'm forced to live here. I don't know what to
Right,
say.
Ripun, we can understand your frustration here. We pay tax.
Hello.
Right, Hardeep, go ahead.
I have one simple query which keeps coming to my mind time and again. There's vehicles have been rejected by the pollution control centers because every citizen gets his vehicle checked from the pollution control center. He has a certificate. He cannot be on the road without that certificate. but how many vehicles are actually being rejected?
Question there because, of course, one of the recent reports that we were looking at also suggested that more than 50% of the pollution in the national capital region is because of vehicular emission. Ankita, I want to take this point across to you because there is a lot of, lot of anger. There is a lot of, frame the action plans as well, because when you look at vehicular emissions, it amounts to almost 50% of pollution in the national capital, but you hardly see any concrete action taken. On the other hand, as soon as there's firecracker issue or even if there's an issue with stubble burning, suddenly you see everyone talking. So do you think...
Very important point, that is transparency of data. What are the pollution control boards doing? There needs to be transparent data sharing in terms of, hey, these were the vehicles that were rejected and this is the reason why. This will instill confidence in callers like Hardeep who are actually getting frustrated, because coming back to actual things that can help you solve these issues is
Ankita,
not everybody.
We'll continue on that point. Just hold on to that thought. Also joining us is Jagdish Rath from Bhubaneswar. Jagdish, go ahead.
Sir, this is I stay in Delhi for 2 months, 3 months. After that, everything will cool down. Thereafter, there is nothing to worry. So they keep doing this. Punjab problem, Haryana problem, this problem, that problem. But what you have done actually, see, look at the Jamuna. Jamuna is not, this fraud is not coming from the Punjab or...
Well, and it's again a multifold issue here. On one hand, we're looking at air pollution. On the other hand, there's water pollution as well that also needs to be spoken about. Gurdeep Singh from Delhi joins us. Gurdeep, go ahead.
Yeah, well, there are multiple issues, just like you said just now. There is a dust issue of dust pollution issues, but the AQI was much better. So there is nothing being done to control the dust. The construction sites are operating like at somebody's whims and fancies. There is no dust control measures which are taken. So these are the things. You go out on the roads, somebody with the building material is...
Right. Absolutely, Gurdeep. A very interesting point that you're making there. In fact, let me take this thought across to Dr. Sachit. Dr. Sachit, our caller here is talking about the dust pollution as well, because we speak a lot about vehicular emissions. We speak about the firecracker burning as well. But dust pollution...
Apart from these gases, which are toxic to us, this particular matter, it plays a crucial role in having these pollutants inside our system. And they further create the issues of having cardiovascular issues. Actually, basically, what happens that these particular particulate matters are deleterious effects on our body, including that increase in the number of heart attacks, increase in the number of strokes.
So, Dr. Sachit, you are saying this not just causes cardiovascular issues, but also neurological issues.
It is, yes. Neurological issues, including this impairment effect of these pollutants are on this cardiovascular system and neurological issues, especially those who are prone to it.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Very scary, in fact, the way you're describing it. And of course, this is something that we are going through every single day, and days are not as difficult as we are projecting it to be.
I think the first and foremost is dust control, stricter regulations on construction projects for dust control. I think that is something that effectively will help reduce our AQI levels in an effective fashion through daily motor vehicles, providing schemes to individuals where they can retrofit their vehicles to control these toxic emissions of NOx and nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and most importantly, particulate matter. I think the government needs to take, and it is alarming as a country that we're at this stage right now in the capital city.
Absolutely. Appalling, alarming. That's, of course, the word that we need to use right now. Ankita ji and Dr. Sachit, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, helping our viewers educate and get better insights about what's happening in the nation.